The Boilermakers begin a final month of the season this Saturday, taking on the Northwestern Wildcats. It's the first of 5 games in the month of November. Purdue hasn't played a home football game on Saturday since September 28th, so it'll be good to get a home crowd back at Ross-Ade Stadium under the sunshine. We expect a great weather day on Saturday, and should be a great day for a sellout game against Northwestern, as the Boilermakers again look to play the first of 5 games in this final month of the season. It is Purdue Football Live. We welcome everybody tonight to walk-ons here in the Purdue Memorial Union. We're going to be talking with Boilermaker head coach Ryan Walters. I blanked there for a minute. Ryan Walters will be with us, along with Hudson Card. I was worried about who the guests were, and I forgot about the head coach. Ryan Walters is with us. Hudson Card is with us. Ryan Browne will be with us a little bit later on. We'll talk with the Boilermaker quarterbacks about their game plan today against Northwestern. Again, we're on Purdue Athletics on Facebook, on X, and on YouTube, so you can follow along there. I'll get my name straight, and we'll be back with the head coach, Ryan Walters, when we come back. You're listening to Purdue Football Live, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Smith pushing up the floor, kicks out. Jacobson lays it in. Rebounded by Smith as it kind of bobbled out, but Smith's able to retain the dribble. Screen by Wren. Middle, Kaufman, Wren, in. 8 points in the early going for Trey. Kaufman, Wren. Offensive rebound, Heidi. Kicks to the corner, Colvin for 3. Got it! Good hustle on the offensive boards from Purdue. We'll slow down the offense, back to Smith now, who's gonna pull up for 3. Can't get it off the back iron. Rebound CJ Cox, up for 2, and knocks down the mid-range jumper.
Hit an early 3 early in the first half, and then they weren't able to put together a whole lot else after that. We'll have to see if they can play on that.
Lawyer floater was no good, but Kaufman Wren right there for the offensive rebound cleanup and the bucket.
It's tough. Grand Valley State continuing to struggle in transition. They're able to get the ball, they're just not able to finish.
Berg with the jam. First, inside, Berg got the leverage and flushes it one more time.
Yeah, great job by Will Berg there in the middle, getting his 5th rebound of the game.
Heidi looking for space. Gives out to Colvin for 3. And he hits. Jakari Harris looking to drive. Finishes with the left hand.
Well, and the Boilermakers struggle on that trip down, boxing out and getting a rebound, and that's going to be a talking point as Burgess is able to finish that one off, but a talking point for the Boilermakers moving.
A bizarre sequence of events as Fine drives to the lane and hits the 2 with the right-handed finish. His hands, now Josh first. Lusk in the corner, back to Fine. Fine for 3. Got it! Downtown, Aaron Fine. 3-0 at home in exhibition games under Matt Painter.
Well, and Purdue came out on the floor tonight.
Welcome back to Purdue Football Live. We're live at walk-ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where there's validated parking and kids eat free on Tuesday. The 2024 Purdue football season is presented by Purdue Global. Earn a degree you'll be proud of with Purdue Global, Purdue's online university for working adults and the preferred online university degree provider of the Guild and Team USA Learning Network. Start your comeback today at purdueglobal.edu. With Ryan Walters. And Ryan and we were talking, we were just chatting a few minutes before we went on the air here. It feels like it's been 2 months since we played a football game. It's only been about 2 weeks, but I'm sure that you and the players are anxious to get back on the field and see what you can do in November.
Absolutely. You know, it's the old adage, right? Like, everybody remembers what you do in November, and we have a heck of a slate, and our guys are excited about getting out there on the playing field and winning in the month of November.
How did you use this month? Talk us through the schedule from the last game we played, which is a couple of weeks ago now against Oregon, which was a Friday night. So you actually have 2 weeks plus a day to get ready for this next one.
Yeah, you know, we spent the bye week, you know, really focusing on ourselves. We had, you know, typically you get in the midpoint of the season and you try to rest the guys that have been playing and you know, you get the young guys some live action. But instead we went full pads. And it was good on good, almost like fall camp. And, you know, we had really tough and physical practices and just worked, you know, reinstall day one stuff and, you know, focused on the fundamentals and techniques and alignments and all the details to make sure that we are playing the right way. And I thought they answered the bell and answered the challenge of being tough and physical those 3 days. And we took Sunday as a jump start on Northwestern, had a Tuesday type practice on Sunday. And then Monday was, again, just going through game planning and fine-tuning the early down package. And then you started Tuesday. It was a Tuesday practice. And, we introduced some third downs, and usually you don't do that till Wednesday just to get a jump start. And then Wednesday was a heavy third down, red area day. And then obviously today is a situational ball and cleaning up some of the early down stuff. So, I like where we're at, and we can't wait to go play.
The advantage of having a bye week, besides the extra days you have to prepare, is normally in a week you can't really get in a lot of heavy hitting when you've only got basically 2 or 3 days of heavy practice. This does give you an opportunity and an opportunity maybe to refine some things defensively and get back to being a physical football team.
Right, and that was the goal. I thought our guys did that really well. It got a little chippy on Thursday last week, but you like to see that. The guys they were intense and had to stop practice a couple times just to get everybody calmed down. We did it. It felt like fall camp. So this week it was a lot cleaner in terms of the game plan and the mental errors, you know what I mean? And so I'm looking forward to what that looks like on Saturday.
You'll get Hudson Card back. We mentioned we'll have him a little bit later on in the show, and it'll be a situation on Saturday. You'll be able to play both he and Ryan Browne, and they do similar things. They're a little bit different, but the great news is you don't have to put in 2 completely different packages. Right.
It's been fun to watch Ryan's growth. He has matured a lot, not only from a physical standpoint, but mentally as well. And it's been fun to see Hud in like this type of offense and seeing like what he can do when you ask him to do like the zone read game, the RPO game, and trying to push the ball down the field. And so both those guys, to their credit, have had a really good 2 weeks of practice, and that's why they both deserve to play. I know a lot of people are like, man, you got 2 quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback, and I disagree with that. Like, Huddy is Huddy, and he is performing the way I thought I envisioned that he would perform. Like I said, in this type of offense, and Ryan is continuing to grow, and sky's the limit for him and his development. Like I think people forget he's a freshman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so those 2 guys, they complement each other well. Ryan is a little bit more outspoken and energetic. Huddy's a little bit more reserved and processes and is very thoughtful about what he's going to do. And Hudson can throw lights out, and Ryan can really run. But that doesn't mean Hudson can't run, because he can, and it doesn't mean Ryan can't throw because he can. So it's a good marriage and good complement to each other. And there's be situations in the game where one will be in there, and then the next guy will come in, and there might be some instances when they're both on the field at the same time.
Excited to see C.J. Smith this week for the first time. He's been out with a hamstring injury, and we know that those can linger for weeks and weeks.
Yeah.
But a guy that brings a different dimension to your offense.
He does, and he's had a great, it was going into the Oregon game, he sort of was introduced back into practice, and it was like a tease. You see him out there running around and going through warm-ups, and you're like, dang, we can't use him today. He's just not quite ready. Didn't want any setbacks there, and so to see him, last week and this week sort of get back in the groove of things, you always knew that he was fast, and really it looks easy for him to move around, but you forget how big he is. He's 6'1", and some change, and he's 195, 200 pounds. He's really strong as well. So I'm excited for him to just get back out there. It's fun to see him smile and play football again. And so I'm definitely fired up for him to be out there on game day and doing what he loves to do.
All right, we need to take a break. We'll have more with Coach Walters after this. This is Purdue Football Live, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Looking for an option, gives to Swanson for 3. Got it. The first three of the season for Sophie Swan. That one was missed by Amaris Lowry as Jones driving to the paint. Good finish off the right-hand glass. Purdue leads 11.
Trying to establish the long ball here, but it's just not falling in the early going.
Bass hits the three. The 6'2" senior knocking it down from the top of the key. And that one's long too.
Yeah, Covington's been searching for that elbow shot all day. Pretty inconsistent thus far.
Swanson, a wonderful finish off the glass with the right hand, just diving in from the left block.
Purdue played 12 girls just in that first quarter alone.
Lombard hits the three. Collier almost got that stolen away. Didn't know that Bonner was right behind her. Jones, McCarthy, good finish. Collier gives to Smith. Now Bass. Mid-range two, can't quite knock it down off the front iron. Fighting for the rebound is Purrier. Inside to Rashunda Jones, who finishes it. Smith cutting to the left side, and a good finish, and the foul. She cut from the right to the left, finished with the right through the contact, and she'll go to the line to complete the three-point play.
Yeah, and Purdue has been very consistent with it.
Jones giving back to Collier. Gives wide, Petrie. Jones cutting inside. Jumps up for the mid-range inside.
She is expected to be that true point guard role. She's showing it here tonight.
Stolen away by Swanson and an intentional foul. Here she comes up the floor. Fighting to the paint, kicks out. Swanson didn't find a shot. She's going to drive, and a right-handed finish off the high off the glass. And that will do it. This exhibition game.
Purdue Football Live is presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union, the official credit union for Purdue fans. Boilermakers and the Wildcats coming up Saturday at noon. That game is sold out in Ross-Ade Stadium. And Ryan, I think it would be remiss if we didn't talk about the fan support. And I go back to that Oregon game a couple of weeks ago. You know, you always wonder, a Friday night game, it's a little bit out of the normal schedule. You got high school football games at night, huge crowd, and I really salute the students who came. They were there on time, and they stayed, and that is not the case we see in some of the student sections around the Big Ten.
No, this is a unique place. You know, it's unlike anywhere I've ever been, which is why I love it here, and which is why, you know, we are working tirelessly to, you know, give the fans something to cheer about on game day. And, you know, we appreciate the heck out of the atmosphere. I know our guys love it. It is always astonishing, you know, you get out to kickoff and you look around and to see everybody in the old gold and black cheering our guys on. And so, you know, Ross-Ade, we love you, and you know, I promise, you know, we are really, really close. I know it's easy to say that, but we are really close, and we got a lot of young guys playing that have gained some valuable experience against some, you know, the top teams in the country. Yeah. And it's only going to continue to get better, and we have a plan, and we have set a foundation internally for long-term success, and I appreciate their patience with us. And continue to show up and show out and support, and I'm looking forward to a great Saturday atmosphere and a great game.
I'm glad you mentioned a lot of the young guys, because we mentioned, I think you were asked about this at your press conference this week, there are a lot of true freshmen and redshirt freshmen now on that two deep. Some of that is because of injury, but a lot of that is because these guys have earned the right to get on the field already.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when I got the job, the roster numbers were depleted, and, you know, because of a multitude of reasons. So even the majority of the transfers we took we're trying to replace, you know, freshman type classes. And so, you know, you look at CJ, he's a sophomore. You look at CJ Madden, he's a sophomore. You know, Nyland Green is a junior. He's got 2 years. You know, a couple of Nyland's a sophomore. You know, so these guys are playing for the first time, and, you know, that this is the same class as Dylan Thieneman and Ryan Browne and Will Held and Jerron Tibbs and George Byrne. Like, these are all core nucleus guys for us, that have multiple years. And so, those guys are doing a great job and gaining some valuable experience and learning through the fire. And sometimes that's the best way to learn. And so I'm definitely looking forward to watching them mature and grow, at this university.
Speaking of young guys, you've got another freshman class that you'll be signing this fall, and it looks like you got another big crowd coming into Ross-Ade this week.
We do, and that's why I'm so thankful for the atmosphere at Ross-Ade and the fan support that continues to cheer on the Boilermakers. It matters to recruits. They want to see who they're going to be playing in front of and how they support their team, and so it'll be a fun day.
And you've got, as we mentioned, 5 games still to play. It's really so unusual that you didn't have a home Saturday game in October, which was strange in and of itself. But you've got almost half the season to play as the calendar turns to November. So there's still a lot to play for this season.
Absolutely, and we got a great schedule. You got a crosstown rival in Northwestern at home. You go to Ohio State. You got Penn State at home. You got another Friday night game at Michigan State, and then another crosstown trophy game in Indiana to close out the year.
All right, we're going to talk more with Ryan Walters when we come back. This is Purdue Football Live, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Holloway Gymnasium not big enough to hold the expected crowd for Purdue volleyball tonight, so they move this game across the pavilion to Mackey Arena. Hayworth over to Alonzo Corsellis. She is stuffed. No, not Raven Coleman, but actually Lourdes Myers. Siegel was almost served. She was calling for it, but Maddie Sarah stepped in the way. Hayworth over to Alonzo Corsellis. She is stuffed. No, not Raven Coleman, but actually Lourdes Myers. Our middle blocker. Anderson serving again. And that is an ace. So another one for Daphne.
I think that was honestly one of my biggest dreams, is playing in front of a crowd like that. Our fans are so amazing, and I think we really thrive off all of that energy.
Purdue fans are just special. I mean, you know that. I mean, look what's going on at Purdue in the last couple of years, the kind of crowds that we have. They're just the most loyal, passionate, caring fans. And I just think it's a great opportunity to thank Purdue, to thank the fans, because, without that, these guys aren't enjoying these experiences. And it's a great experience for us. So it's a special place, for sure.
I'm George Key, and this is our beautiful new arena. Robinson on the spin.
He's got a national champion team resides in West Lafayette, Indiana, as Katie does it.
Gene Katie engineers an upset of Lou Olson and the Wildcats.
Hudson, Edwards, he's got 30.
Welcome back to Purdue Football Live. We're live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where there's validated parking and kids eat free on Tuesdays. Purdue Athletics would like to thank and recognize members of the Black and Gold Club who support Purdue Athletics through their sponsorship at the highest level. Black and Gold Club members include Indiana Packers, Molson Coors, Purdue Federal Credit Union, Purdue Global, State Farm Insurance, Toyota, and Wabash. Each are great partners of Purdue Athletics. Talking with Ryan Walters as the Boilermakers get ready to take on the Northwestern Wildcats on Saturday. We will be playing, by the way, at Northwestern in 2025. I kind of hope it's early in the season so we get a chance to play in that little 12,000-seat stadium just to see what that thing is like by the lake.
It looks really cool, like on film. When you watch it, you see the lake in the background.
Yeah.
It's got to be a pretty sweet backdrop. So, yeah, I'm hoping that it's early in the year.
I would be remiss, too, if I didn't ask, as we're talking to you on Halloween, do you remember maybe your favorite Halloween costume as a kid growing up?
So my mom was really into, like, making homemade costumes. And so I had a couple, growing up. I think, like, in 3rd grade, I was the genie from Aladdin.
Okay.
So I was, like, painted blue, and she, like, made fake muscles and stuff, and like in a blue sweater. That was cool. I was Robin Hood one year, and she again made the the outfit like it was really cool. So, and I was a mummy also, and that was a neat one too. I think she had more fun with it than I did.
You know, some families really get into it, and the homemade costumes, I think, are sometimes always the best ones too.
Yeah, for sure.
Your running backs have been very productive this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're looking at numbers, Purdue is in the upper half of the Big Ten in rushing yards per game in conference play. And we've talked about Devin Mockabee and Reggie Love, the fact that they have styles that complement each other. But Devin Mockabee, he's a guy that you wish you could clone and have about 20 or 30 more of him, or 50 or 60.
I know, right? Not only from like a playing standpoint, but just his attitude and his toughness, man. Like that. He's not the biggest guy. I know he plays like he's big, so when people see him, they're like, "Oh, I thought you'd be a lot bigger." But he's tough as nails, man. Like you hit him, he looks like it could be a blow that would send him out, and he brushes it off and goes right back in there, and doesn't lose any type of confidence or physicality from week to week or play to play. And so you wish you could harness that mentality and integrate it throughout the locker room.
When you talked about going and kind of going in full tempo last week and doing a lot of hitting, do you hit the running backs?
Absolutely.
So they're
the only one that's not that you can't really touch are the quarterbacks, and sometimes Ryan Browne will invite some contact.
He will skirt that rule.
Yeah.
Max Clare has had a terrific season so far, and I think we've only seen really the beginning of his potential. It's good to see George Burhen come back, because now you've got that three-headed monster tight end. You can do a lot of different things with that combination.
We can, and that combination will continue to grow. Again, that's a young room. Max is a sophomore. George is a freshman, redshirt freshman, and Bibbs got another year too, and those guys all complement each other well. They all get along great, and I think Justin Sins and Keith have done a great job with that room.
A guy that we talked about early in the season, we haven't mentioned him in the last few weeks, but I think he's been really solid for you. Your punter, Keelan Crimmins, has been probably one of your best portal pickups, because, sometimes you see guys early in the year in September and they punt like crazy, and all of a sudden when the weather gets colder, those yardages start to shrivel up. That's not the case with him.
No, he's an awesome guy too. He's from Australia, got a unique story, unique background, and he's really good at his craft.
How do you find guys like that? I mean, it seems like everybody in the Big Ten and everybody around the country seems to have an Australian punter.
Yeah.
Where are they all coming? They're all coming from Australia, but why?
Well, there's a program out there that takes guys that played rugby and had big legs, and introduces them to American football, and so usually they're tough kids.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're older guys too, and so that program has really produced a lot of talented punters. And our special teams coordinator, Chris Petrelli, has got a good relationship with them, and we even sent them down there this spring to go evaluate and continue the relationship with that group. So, hopefully that's a good sign for our special teams moving forward.
You mentioned some of those guys are older. Illinois' punter's 31 years old and spent some time in the Australian Army, so he's got some toughness to him.
There's no question.
All right, we're going to have a mystery on Saturday to see who's actually going to start at quarterback, and we'll have a mystery here in the next segment. Will it be Hudson Card? Will it be Ryan Browne? Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
It might be both, right?
It could be both on Purdue Football Live, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
I'll remember Joe Tiller as the offensive guru who brought basketball and grass to West Lafayette, but he was your DC for your entire career too. What was it like playing for him?
Yeah. Joe was fun. Joe was no nonsense, very similar to Leon. The biggest thing, what I really loved about both the guys, is that they allow the players to be themselves inside of their system. And I think when you allow that, you find the best version of the player. And, Joe allowed it. They were very similar in that manner, where they were very honest, they were very truthful. They allowed you to be you. And I think for me, and I wasn't a crazy kid. I was just kind of a quiet kid that played football from Fort Wayne. And they allowed me just to live the way I want to live, talk the way I want to talk, walk the way I want to walk. And when I stepped on the field, they allowed me to play the way I want to play.
That's awesome to have that freedom, to have that trust from your coaches. makes a world of difference. You mentioned kid from Fort Wayne Snyder High School. You came here, of all places. Why did you pick Purdue?
I knew I wanted to play in the Big Ten.
Okay.
So I went to, I visited Purdue, Illinois, Wisconsin, and then I went out to Arizona State for a visit. And Purdue was the one school that said, if you sign with us, you're the starting free safety. And I eventually left. Arizona State was my last official visit. And as soon as I got on the plane, I knew I was going to come to Purdue. Landed, called coach, told him I was going to come to Purdue, got here, and I was not the starting free safety. When I first got here, Randy Feichner was. But in a couple weeks, I got to the spot where I wanted and to start. And Randy and I were great friends, have been forever. And then Randy became an offensive side of a guy when he retired from football and became a coach. So everything worked out for the best.
You had some teammates that were pretty legit, guys who went on to great NFL careers after having really, really good college careers. That sort of collection of talent, what was it like getting that group together every day in practice?
Well, I mean, it's thinking about all the guys that we had. Chris Dishman and I, we came in the same class. Scott Campbell, when I first got here, was a quarterback, and then Jimmy Everett was the quarterback for 2 years, and then we had Jeff George my last year. So we had a kind of a cradle of really good quarterbacks in that time frame. But so we had the players. We knew we had the skill set. We just had to play at our level week in and week out, and we did it that year.
We all remember Joe Tiller as.
It's time for the Pro Boilers feature, where we look at how former Purdue student athletes are doing in their professional sports careers. Pro Boilers is presented by Indiana Kitchen Premium Pork Products. Get to know us at indianakitchen.com. Both our Pro Boilers and Indiana Kitchen are boiler-made. Big night for Tyrone Tracy with the New York Giants. 20 carries, 145 yards, and a touchdown. Unfortunately, he had to leave the game a little bit early because of a concussion. But he's in the concussion protocol this week, but they do believe he'll probably play this week. So good to see Tyrone Tracy have success. George Karlaftis, who's only had 2 Super Bowl rings in his first 2 seasons playing for Kansas City, had another big game against the Raiders last week. 4 tackles, including a solo. He had 2 quarterback hits and a pass broken up. Raheem Mostert, back from the injured list for Miami, had 2 touchdowns in their loss to Arizona. And Sanusi Kane, who played for the Boilermakers last season with the Baltimore Ravens, had 2 special teams tackles in their loss to the Cleveland Browns. We are joined by Ryan Browne. He is a redshirt freshman quarterback from Clarkston, Michigan. Applause, please. Now, when we say that Ryan Browne is Jim Brown's son, Jim Browne in the NFL, it's Jim Browne with an E.
Yes, sir.
First of all, Jim Browne, your dad played football at Northwestern, at Boston College with Doug Flutie, and played in the NFL. What kind of an impact did that have on you growing up?
Yeah, I think he's had all the impact in the world on me. From a young age, playing football, he's a sports performance trainer, so I've worked out with him my whole life, and he's really set me up for where I am now.
Talk about your journey through high school, because you were in several different places trying to get yourself in the best possible position. Take us through that geography. Where have you been on the map?
Yeah, so I grew up in Michigan, lived there my whole life until my junior year of high school. COVID hit, and they canceled the football season up there. And my dad is very serious about my football career as well as I am. So I moved down to Florida in about a week's notice. And I was down there for my junior and senior year. I was pretty under-recruited after high school. So I went to New York for a prep year. So I reclassified, didn't lose any eligibility. Went there for a semester and then found home at Purdue.
Now, when you say you went to Florida, my understanding is you went to Florida by yourself, right? You were living by yourself in Florida?
Yeah, I had people checking in on me. My head coach would come in and check in on me. We had some family friends in the area that were helping me out. But for the most part, during the week, I was on my own, and then my dad would come down on the weekend to watch me play.
And I bring that up just to show that you had to have a pretty good level of maturity. I mean, a high school junior basically kind of taking care of himself, got to get yourself out of bed to go to school every day and do the things you're supposed to do. So you've had to do things the right way for several years.
Right, yes, sir. It made me grow up fast, but, once I got to Purdue and I saw all my teammates kind of adjusting to that lifestyle. I had already been doing it for about 2 years, so I was really grateful for it when that happened.
All right, why Purdue? What brought you to West Lafayette?
You know, I think Purdue has a great history of quarterbacks, and that's obviously something that I want to be a part of. And then it's a great school.
You played a little bit last year. You got a chance to get in the Northwestern game, and of course you'll get a chance against the Wildcats this week. You came off the bench in that one. Talk about that one, and then the difference to now when you were starting this year, when you started against Illinois.
Yeah, I just think the difference is experience. You know, I was a true freshman last year. It was my first game. And I think I did some really good things, but I think there were plays to be had that I didn't make just from, you know, inexperience and being a young player. And, you know, through the rest of the season last year in spring ball, fall camp, and this season so far, I've just continued to learn more, watch film, learn things from Hudson that I see him doing, and just try to get caught up in all the experience.
Talk about the relationship you two have, because he's a senior, you're a freshman. You know, there's obviously the overlap right now, but what have you been able to learn from him, and how have you been able to help him? Yeah,
I just think ever since I got here, Hudson was the guy, so I took it and I learned from him, and I've continued to learn from him. I think he's like helped me develop as much as anybody has. Just, you know, watching the way he operates, the way he prepares, the way he studies. That's really helped me a lot because he came in as a guy with experience already. So, you know, that's the point where I want to get to. And I think, you know, I do a good job with Hudson. Just, I think we're always on the same page with things, and it's really nice to have a guy that you can communicate with, and you know, he's kind of thinking the same thing.
Walk me through that Illinois game, Ryan, where you're down 27-3 early in the third quarter, and things look pretty bleak. And all of a sudden, this offense exploded for 40 points in about a 25-minute span. What clicked?
You know, I don't think anything clicked. I think we just kept shopping. You know, that's all you can do. You know, as an offensive player, your job is to score points. And we went into halftime, and we told each other, hey, we're going to have to go out there and just play hard. I think everybody did a good job of playing hard. You know, we just played together, and I think everybody did their job, and that's how you put some points on the board.
Running down the tunnel then as a starting quarterback against Oregon, which is now the #1 team in the country under the lights on national TV. That's pretty heady stuff. How do you keep things in perspective? How do you keep calm before a game like that?
You know, just with preparation, if you're prepared, you're going to be confident. So I think that's the most important thing, was just going in with confidence. And I think it was a great opportunity.
Tell me about the mindset of this team right now with 5 games still to go. You know, the season so far hasn't gone the way that you wanted it, but you still have almost half the season to turn this around.
Yeah, I think everybody feels good. We've done a lot in the bye week to figure things out, and I think the team morale, everybody's super excited for the second half of the year to turn things around.
What was your favorite Halloween costume as a kid growing up? Anything in particular stands out?
I really dressed up as 2 different things. As a kid, it was either a Power Ranger, that was when I was younger, and then I would dress up as a football player almost every year.
Well, and one of those has stayed true, right?
Yep.
And I don't think it's the Power Ranger part. But I hope you play like a Power Ranger on Saturday. Good luck against the Wildcats and the rest of the season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we're going to talk with Hudson Card when we come back. This is Purdue Football Live, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Lawyer. Smith pushing up the floor, kicks out. Jacobson lays it in. Rebounded by Smith as it kind of bobbled out, but Smith's able to retain the dribble. Screen by Wren. Middle, Kaufman-Wren in. 8 points in the early going for Trey Kaufman-Wren. Offensive rebound, Heidi. Kicks to the corner, Colvin for 3. Got it. Good hustle on the offensive boards from Purdue. We'll slow down the offense. Back to Smith now, who's going to pull up for 3. Can't get it off the back iron. Rebound C.J. Cox. Up for 2 and knocks down the mid-range jumper.
Hit an early 3 early in the first half, and then they weren't able to put together a whole lot else after that. We'll have to see if they can play on that.
Lawyer floater was no good, but Kaufman-Wren right there for the offensive rebound, cleanup, and the bucket.
It's tough. Grand Valley State continuing to struggle in transition. They're able to get the ball. They're just not able to finish.
Berg with the jam. First, inside, Berg got the leverage and flushes it one more time.
Yeah, great job by Will Berg there in the middle, getting his 5th rebound of the game.
Heidi looking for space. Gives out to Colvin for 3. And he hits. Jakari Harris looking to drive. Finishes with the left hand.
Well, and the Boilermakers struggle on that trip down, boxing out and getting a rebound, and that's going to be a talking point as Burgess is able to finish that one off, but a talking point for the Boilermakers moving.
A bizarre sequence of events as Fine drives to the lane and hits the 2 with the right-handed finish. His hands, now Josh first. Lusk in the corner, back to Fine. Fine for 3. Got it! Downtown Aaron Fine. 30-0 at home in exhibition games under Matt Painter.
Well, welcome back to Purdue Football Live. We're live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where there's validated parking and kids eat for free on Tuesdays. It is a really busy time right now in Purdue athletics and a busy time for us at Learfield. Just a quick rundown of the next few days. Of course, we've got the Boilermakers and Wildcats Saturday from Ross-Ade. Pregame show starts at 11 o'clock. Monday night, the men will open their regular season against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. That's a 7 o'clock tip with 6 o'clock air. Purdue Basketball Live will be on next Tuesday night at 6:30, right here at Walk-Ons. Then we've got another Purdue Football Live a week from tonight at 6:05. Boilermakers in Northern Kentucky and men's basketball the following night, and then the next day, Purdue-Ohio State football, and we don't have a kickoff time for that. Quiz will come later. Let's get the important question with Hudson Card out of the way first. Your favorite Halloween costume as a kid growing up down in Austin, Texas?
I would say my favorite one was probably Harry Potter. I got that scar right here.
Okay.
It kind of looks like Harry Potter,
see
so
that,
I kind of fit the costume pretty well.
The big glasses, too? You got the whole deal. All right. How do you feel? You've been out with an injury, as we know. You're back to 100% now?
Yes, sir. Back to 100%, and I felt great. So
it has to be hard for a guy that loves competition to miss a game and not be able to play and not be able to help. What have the last couple of weeks been like for you as you've tried to get over this injury?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as a competitor, you always want to be out there, and especially with your teammates. So that was my goal, to come back as fast as you can. And when you're dealing with a head injury, that's one injury that you don't want to come back too fast on. And but I'm 100% now, and feels good to be back.
You got off to a great start this season, 24 of 25 against Indiana State. And I don't care what competition you're playing. You can play against air and have a hard time sometimes completing 24 of 25. What was the feeling like for you that day?
Yeah, it felt good. Obviously, to be back in Ross-Ade again from the past year, and it felt really good. And as a team, we went out there and executed, so the game felt really good.
We've talked to Coach Walters about the different talent that's been brought in. We mentioned a lot of those names early in the program. How long did it take you to get acclimated to some of the new guys? Because timing is everything, and you've got to get a lot of stuff done in the spring and summertime.
Yeah, I think credit to, Coach Walters on trying to get those guys in the spring. That way we'd have more time with them to, build that culture with them and get to know them. But, they've been amazing, and I'm glad to have those guys.
Has to help you, too, to know that you've got two pretty good running backs you can turn around and hand the football off to, in Devin and Reggie. That takes a lot of pressure off you at the quarterback position.
Yeah, no doubt. Sometimes after handing it off and just watch them work their magic is pretty special, and they're great players, and, we rely on them a lot.
Well, let me ask you the same question I asked Ryan earlier. How have you been able to help him, and what things has he given you in return at that quarterback spot?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think we help each other at the end of the day, and, he's a great friend of mine, and, we're also competing, and, just to have him, in the quarterback room with us is pretty special, and, I think, for me, when he's playing and I was out, just seeing some things that I saw, and, I think we're both rooting for each other, and, with him, just his ability to use his legs and get yards when he can, is pretty special, and he has a great great playmaking abilities, and looking forward to going out there with him on Saturday.
You're going to have a full house on Friday night against Northwestern. A week from now, on Saturday. We're not playing Friday nights anymore this week, right? We're a little bit later on. Saturday afternoon, you're going to have a full house against Northwestern, and then you're going to have a full house the following week at Ohio Stadium and a raucous atmosphere there. How do you stay calm in those situations? I mean, the place is going nuts, and you've got to maintain your cool and do the things that you need to do to be successful.
Yeah, I think, one thing that helps is just experience, and, I've played in some big games in the past, which helps once you are in those situations again. And then, I think, ultimately you're so focused on doing your job and executing, each play to the best of its ability that, all that extra stuff is almost blocked out, by itself just from, you focused in on the play. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, you're going to be in some tough environments, especially on the road, but just trust your training and, go out there and execute.
How important are these 5 games to you personally and as a team as we head toward the month of November now and try to wrap the season up on a positive note?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, obviously we want to go out there and win every single game, and, that's our attitude going into each week. And, there's still a lot of belief in the guys in the locker room, and, I have complete confidence in the staff and the players, and looking forward to these last 5 weeks.
Hudson, it's going to be great to see you back on the field Saturday. Good luck against the Wildcats and throughout this month of November.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll have the head coach back with us when we come back. This is Purdue Football Live, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Looking for an option, gives to Swanson for 3. Got it! The first 3 of the season for Sophie Swanson. That one was missed by Amaris Lowry as Jones driving to the paint. Good finish off the right-hand glass. Purdue leads 11.
Trying to establish the long ball here, but it's just not falling in the early going.
Bass hits the 3. The 6'2" senior knocking it down from the top of the key. And that one's long too.
Yeah, Covington's been searching for that elbow shot all day. Pretty inconsistent thus far.
Swanson, a wonderful finish off the glass with the right hand, just diving in from the left block.
Purdue played 12 girls just in that first quarter alone.
Lombard hits the 3. Collier almost got that stolen away. Didn't know that Bonner was right behind her. Jones, McCarthy, good finish. Collier gives to Smith. Now Bass. Mid-range 2, can't quite knock it down off the front iron. Fighting for the rebound is Purrier. Inside to Rashunda Jones, who finishes it. Smith cutting to the left side, and a good finish, and the foul. She cut from the right to the left, finished with the right through the contact, and she'll go to the line to complete the 3-point play.
Yeah, and Purdue has been very consistent with it.
Jones giving back to Collier. Gives wide, Petrie. Jones cutting inside. Jumps up for the mid-range inside.
She is expected to be that true point guard role. She's showing it here tonight.
Stolen away by Swanson and an intentional foul. Here she comes up the floor. Fighting to the paint, kicks out. Swanson didn't find a shot. She's going to drive, and a right-handed finish off the high off the glass. And that will do it. This exhibition.
The 2024 Purdue football season is presented by Purdue Global. Earn a degree you'll be proud of with Purdue Global, Purdue's online university for working adults, and the preferred online university degree provider of the Guild and Team USA Learning Network. Start your comeback today at purdueglobal.edu. Our engineer Wes Scott rightly corrected me during the break. The Monday night game, basketball game against Texas A&M Corpus Christi actually tips at 6 o'clock. So we'll be on the air at 5 o'clock. Don't show up at 7 and then get mad at me because you missed half the game. So want to make sure that people get in their seats in time to watch the Boilermakers play Monday night. Let's talk about your game Saturday, and let's talk about those Northwestern Wildcats. And we were talking a little bit earlier. Northwestern, year in and year out, plays as hard or harder than anybody in the Big Ten, and they don't make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, it's true. I've gotten to know David Browne here, recently just because of Big Ten head coach meetings and things like that. And been really impressed with who he is as a person, and how hard his guys play and responded to him during his interim tag. And so, they play Northwestern type brand of ball where not overly complicated, but they do what they do, and they do it really well. And they know the answers and the problems. Don't make a whole lot of mistakes, so they're not going to beat themselves. You know what I mean? So you gotta win your competitive one-on-one matchups, and can't let them dictate the type of game that's going to be played.
One of the things they do year in and year out, and again they're doing it this year, they force a lot of turnovers, almost 2 turnovers a game.
Yeah, they're like I said, their defense they don't make mistakes, and they try their best not to give up explosive plays and make you execute all the way down the field, and that's hard to do at times. And so they capitalize on offenses when they make mistakes.
Bryce Kurtz is a player who's from the state of Indiana. He's been one of their top receivers the last couple of years. Did not play last week because of an injury, but could be back there. And he's a guy that can really change the dynamic of their offense.
He really can. They got a couple guys that are fast. The guy that transferred from Michigan a year ago,
A.J. Henning.
A.J.
Really
Henning,
good.
he's fast and creates matchup issues, and the quarterback can really run, is athletic, and extends plays. So they're a good football team, well coached, and a good hard-nosed football team.
And they had a punt return for a touchdown last week. And they're a team that's always with Pat Fitzgerald, and I don't know if it's really carried over with David Browne. They would always have a lot of tricks for you on special teams and other places. A lot of trick plays.
Yeah, they haven't had as many trick plays, under Browne, but it's a smart football team, and they do get creative.
All right, back to your team. We've talked about the practice the last couple of weeks, and I asked the players about the mindset. What are you seeing from them? How are they reacting to this, and knowing that they still have a chance to really make a different ending to this 2024 football season?
Yeah, I've been highly impressed with them. They haven't flinched. Social media can get crazy, and during the bye week, I woke up Monday morning with all kind of messages and phone calls. Talking crazy, you know what I mean? And so we had a team meeting on Tuesday. I didn't see the team on Monday, and just kind of addressed, some of the things that were said. And, like I said, they didn't blink, they didn't flinch, and went to work, and, that's how they've operated. And so they're a resilient bunch, an eager bunch, and I'm excited to play these first play Saturday, and then see how the rest of the year plays out, because I do have a lot of belief and confidence in this group.
All right, we're going to have the final segment of the Purdue Football Live show presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union coming up. We're on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Holloway Gymnasium not big enough to hold the expected crowd for Purdue volleyball tonight, so they moved this game across the pavilion to Mackey Arena.
Hayworth over to Alonzo Corsellis. She is stuck. No, not Raven Coleman, but actually Lourdes Myers. Siegel was almost served. She was calling for it, but Maddie Sarah stepped in the way. Hayworth over to Alonzo Corsellis. She is stuck. No, not Raven Coleman, but actually Lourdes Myers. Our middle blocker. Anderson serving again. And that is an ace. So another one for Daphne.
I think that was honestly one of my biggest dreams, is playing in front of a crowd like that. Our fans are so amazing, and I think we really thrive off all of that energy.
Purdue fans are just special. I mean, you know that. I mean, look what's going on at Purdue in the last couple of years, the kind of crowds that we have. They're just the most loyal, passionate, caring fans. And I just think it's a great opportunity to thank Purdue, to thank the fans, because, without that, these guys aren't enjoying these experiences. And it's a great experience for us. So it's a special place, for sure.
I'm George King, and this is our beautiful new arena.
Robinson on the spin. He's got a national champion team resides in West Lafayette, Indiana, as Katie does it.
Gene Katie engineers an upset of Lou Olson and the Wildcats.
Carson Edwards. He's got flirty.
Purdue Football Live is presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union, the official credit union for Purdue fans. It's the Boilermakers and the Wildcats on Saturday at noon. One of the things, Ryan, that you've got to overcome here in this last month, your team has gotten off to slow starts offensively, 7 points total, and that was in the opening game in the first quarter. I'm sure you're trying to come up with different things in different ways. What can you do to get the engine going a little bit sooner? And if I can come up with something, I'll let you know.
Obviously, the goal is to score, so, we try to be strategic about, what our openers are. I thought, obviously, like the Illinois game, I thought we would have scored if we didn't, we got a holding penalty on an explosive run that would have got us inside the 15.
Which, by the way, didn't look in live action like a hold. What did you see? Was it a hold?
I mean, the Big Ten said it wasn't a hold.
Okay, all right.
So
looked like a pancake block, but but we digress.
Yeah, we gave DJ Wingfield a plus in a pancake for that play. So, so so I thought we had a good plan on that drive, and then the second drive, we had a explosive pass that was dropped.
Right.
You got things that sort of have happened. And then in the Oregon game, Oregon, that's the number one team in the country for a reason, right? Like that's a highly valued roster, and they got great coaches over there. But I think that we do have a good plan. I'm excited for what that plan looks like on Saturday, and hopefully we can go in and score that first drive. That would be huge.
Well, it'd be huge too to keep your crowd involved, because that's the one thing you don't want to see is if you get behind early and then your crowd gets taken out of it. It makes it really hard.
Right. Like the advantage of playing in Ross-Ade is that the crowd is so impactful. So you got to give them reason to be impactful and opportunities to be so. So that is definitely a point of emphasis. I know for us offensively to get on a good start and to keep our foot on the gas.
Well, Ryan, we're looking forward to getting back on the field, and I hope the next time we talk after the game Saturday, we're talking about a Boilermaker victory.
Man, it's about time, right?
All right. We'll talk to you on Saturday.
All right, boiler up.
All right, thanks to our engineer, Wes Scott, our producer, Hunter Stunkel, and our video produced tonight by McCarty Cummings. Again, the Boilermakers and the Northwestern Wildcats will kick it off at noon on Saturday. We'll have the pregame action starting at 11. For Ryan Walters, for Hudson Card, for Ryan Browne, I'm Tim Newton. We'll see you Saturday at Ross-Ade Stadium. This is Boilermaker Football on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.